and welcome to the Healthy Half Hour podcast. We are your hosts, Richard and Karen Inslee.
The Healthy Half Hour podcast is your resource for all things healthy, and we will be discussing how to make nutrition, fitness and lifestyle choices work for you.
We will be sharing our own personal insights along with research gathered from working in the health and fitness industry for the past 10 years.
Our show is brought to you by the 7 Day Shred, which can be found at 7dayshred.com, and please feel free to visit our podcast website, which can be found at healthyhalfhourpodcast.com.
And now on to today's show.
We're back. You're gonna actually be listening to this after we've got home. This podcast is going to be a little bit different. We're actually out in the boonies, kind of. We're camping right now at a place called Moon Lake, which is in
Riding Mountain National Park.
Yeah, so normally when we go away in July for 8-9 days, we go a little bit more northeast, and we decided to go northwest, I guess, kind of.
Something different.
Yeah, we just thought we'd try somewhere different. Basically, we normally go off the radar, and the campsite that we normally go to is no cell phone service, no internet service, no regular phone service, so it literally is off the radar. And this campsite does actually possess a little bit of connection with the outside world.
We've pretty much ignored it.
Yeah, we have. We kind of turned the phones off. We've taken a few photos and just checked a couple of messages. But yeah, so if
only for the cat.
Yeah, for the cats. Yeah,
and you're not doing a video talk with him. I'm telling you now, you're not. I don't care.
Well, actually, when I had to go back to the UK in February for any emergency trip for my parents' health issues, I made you do a video.
And our house sitter's not doing it. I don't want her to go through it.
Video call with our cats. So.
Anywho.
So I'm a little bit OCD when it comes to leaving the cats, and even though our house sitter rolls her eyes at us and
us?
Well, okay, at me, but so it might be a little bit like noisy on this because the wind's picked up a little bit, but
blowing the poplars and the spruce around.
Yeah, so like you say, it's a bit of a different podcast. It's actually a two-parter, and we've actually spent a lot of money to live like homeless people for 10 days
in the bush. Fun time.
So we bring our tent and our screen tent to use as a cook tent, and we literally always go to campsites that are basic, so no electric, nothing, no running water.
No, there's running water across the other side, and they've got some composting toilets on site, so that's pretty much all you get. When we wash, we go down to the lake and jump in with a bar of soap and help yourself, and
that's it.
Pretty much, live in the. Cooking wise, we bring a little gas cooker stove top thing. It's got one burner and one kind of grill on it. We should have bought one with two burners on because the grill's absolutely useless. But and that's pretty much. We use the fire pit as well. We'll put some logs on the fire pit and put them every night. So far, we've been here. This is the third night.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're on the fourth
night.
Mm-hmm.
So we've used the fry pan pretty much 3 out of 4 nights and cooked things on it. And today for supper we had
pork, we had mashed sweet potatoes, and we had cauliflower. So we found the reason we wanted to do this podcast was because we come away and we obviously don't glamp it, and for people who are not familiar with what glamping is, do you want to tell people?
Well, it's people show up with a big fifth wheel, they've got the
big trailer,
the generators running, and they've got air conditioning. Oh, we're out in the bush camping. No, you just brought your house on wheels and your refrigerator and everything, and each to their own, you know what I mean? If that's what people want to do, then that's good for them. At least they're out and about and they're getting a bit of fresh air and they're walking and doing other things.
Fresh air in their air-conditioned trailer.
So we just like to just kind of rough it a little bit more, and it's our thing. When we get older, I guess it might not be our thing, but at the minute, it suits us. And it's we've got a few creature comforts in the tent. We've got a a couple of cots. We went off air beds about 5 or 6 years ago, and we had these two
Because it was like
cots.
being on a bouncy castle,
Oh,
wasn't
God.
it? When one of you got up in the middle of the night to go pee.
One of you hit the floor, and then when you got back on, the other one sprung up. And so yeah, we got these cots, and basically they fold up. And one good thing about cots when you're camping is you've got loads of storage room underneath them.
Yay.
So like Karen says, the crux of what we're today was just about food really, and obviously we work with people when it comes to diet and exercise. And always this time of year, well, we're going to go camping and there's all the bad food and we're going to eat hot dogs and garbage and yada, yada, yada.
And like, I'll interject there because like, obviously we live in Manitoba. So anybody listening to this around the world, I mean, if you've been following us for a while, our winters are very long and our summers are very short. So people like to get to the cabins, to the lake, and kind of speed date their holidays, don't they?
Pretty much.
Just like get out. And so they love to enjoy the lakes and the outdoors, but...
Well, the camping season actually is May long, which is kind of the third weekend in May. And then the first weekend in September, everybody shuts down. Mm-hmm. So literally that's how long it is. You've got from the literally end the third week of May to the first week of September, and everything's gone. It's shut. It's finished.
And so people go away and like we've got friends who've got cabins, and when we say cabins, it's not the Grizzly Adams type of cabins that you'd expect. Some of them look like just a house really. But I was talking to somebody, well, a couple of people recently, some friends of ours, and we went to stay with them for a night. And she brought out some chips and she says, we only have chips when we're away at the cabin.
Crisps if you're in England.
Crisps, yeah. So we're like, well, why? Well, it's expected. And we're like, well, no, it's not. And then I got another client that I recently been working with, and they've got a cabin, and one of the things that she said is like, because I asked her, I says like, so if you're going away to the cabin this summer, what are you going to be your challenges? Oh, well, we have all the junk food there. And I'm like, well, why? Because they don't eat bad at home, but we can't kind of wrap our heads around it, can we?
Habit more often than not. And a lot of times people have cottages, cabins, whatever you call them, by the lake, and they get a lot of friends to come out. So again, it's kind of expected for people that they think, oh, I'll better have all these snacks and things in, because people want snacks once they start drinking the beers and the wine. And then again, once you get the inhibitive effects of alcohol, I mean, you'll eat and drink pretty much everything. And I mean, there's healthier ways to make snacks if you want to have snacks. And I mean, there's simple things like just make a bruschetta or something like, all right, it takes a little bit of work. And yes, it is not necessarily the best thing if you're using white bread and stuff. But I mean, it's got cheese, it's got salsa, and there's other things on there. It's a little more filling than just filling your face full of pre-made snacks and other garbage that you can buy out the store.
And when we come away, we bring 2 cool boxes with us. One is a little bit more expensive than the other, and we keep all the meat in it. So that one is the one that we open maybe 3 times a day, don't we?
Yeah.
So, and the other one is like our fridge cooler. So we'll go in there multiple times a day. But we literally don't eat any differently, do we? Than when we're at home, even though we have no microwave, no big stove, no
oven, no grill.
I literally on Thursday packed up stuff out of our fridge, out of our freezer, and just came away. And yeah, literally our food does not constitute anything different.
No, and like you say, it takes a little bit of effort and maybe a little bit of planning just to kind of, obviously you're cooking in different environments. I mean, this morning we had scrambled egg on toast, so we got some whole wheat sprouted grain
bread, yeah.
Sprouted grain bread, and I put it on this. Well, actually the grill thing was actually useful for something, so I actually toasted that on it. And then just a couple of egg whites we had floating around at home, half a dozen eggs, and made scrambled egg on toast. And I mean,
last night we had chicken. 2 nights ago we had chicken with peas, and we had butter taters, and we got some peas left over. Yeah. So we threw them into the scrambled egg, didn't we?
Yeah. And butter taters, we parboil, chop some white potatoes up, parboil them, and then pan fry them all in butter.
Oh, butter!
Just the best thing ever. Just the best thing ever.
And like I say, it's just you have to kind of manage things like and juggle them. But I mean, like, it was only probably 3 or 4 years ago that we started using the fire pit, wasn't it?
More, yeah, for sure.
To cook with, and I always make a couple of gluten-free lasagnas and bring them with us. And what I do is I put them in a pan like that we use in the oven at home, and put some water in the bottom, sit the foil trays in with lasagna, put some foil over the top, seal it in, and
Steam them.
Well, the first year that we did that, we put the foil over it and sealed it tight, and then the foil starts expanding and expanding.
It looked like a popcorn thing.
And we're like, oh my God, this is going to blow. It's going to explode. So we're like there at arm's distance.
Run for the hills.
Trying to like poke a hole in it. So now we've learned to poke a little holes in it so the steam releases.
So I mean, yeah, like I say, pretty much the meals are, because when you come away for like 8-9 days, we basically, again, you have to kind of realise what you're going to have each night. I mean, you don't have to say, oh, Wednesday we're definitely having this and Thursday we're definitely having this, as long as each night and each breakfast covered. And I mean, today we had, let's say, the scrambled eggs. I mean, we had a rainstorm in the morning. I'd normally go fishing around 6 o'clock, but it was pouring with rain, so I stayed in bed and we didn't get up till 8:30. And say we probably had the scrambled eggs and stuff around 9:30ish, 9:45, and then we had a bit of something just to eat just while we were making supper. So
yeah,
we had supper about 7 p.m. and we probably had a nibble on something about 5 o'clock. So we didn't eat all day. Wasn't hungry.
No.
Plenty of food this morning. Didn't really care. Didn't need to snack. And yeah, that's just kind of how we roll. So we try to, again, do what we do at home out in the bush. So again, we just wanted to put this short one together just to kind of give you an idea. Later on, we're going to add some more to this and probably do, like Karen says, do a part 2. But we'll release them when we get back, which will probably be in the third week of July, or start of the third week of July. So
we commence in the 15th, I think. Yeah. Something like that. But yeah, we just wanted to like get across to people that just because you're away, you don't have to fall into the trap of like eating junk food. I mean,
and plus also, if you don't make those crappy snaps, people won't come and bother you, so you get lots of time by the lake on your own.
So yeah, like you say, this is just a short and sweet one because we're going to do a 2-parter, and then like you say, that was one thing that I wanted to mention. I've been taking a few pictures of the meals that I've been cooking. I've not taken photos of everything, but I mean, we can put them in the show notes and just show that, you know, it is possible.
Because everybody wants to see pictures of your food.
Oh yeah, but like I say, just from the point of fact that, like you say, apart from using plastic,
lots of oohs and
plastic
ahs.
Plates, like
they're not plastic,
metal plates.
Yeah.
Yeah, metal plates. Like yeah, nothing's any different.
Till next time.
So we're back to do the second half of our camping podcast, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
a little noisy this morning. The wind's a little more through the trees, and the poplars and the elms and the oaks are all flapping around, so hopefully you'll hear us over that.
But
it's a beautiful sunny morning though.
A couple of nights ago we had thunder and lightning, and I think the storm started about 5 p.m. was it, and went pretty heavy till about 8:30.
Yeah.
So
but you buy good equipment and you stay dry, so
yeah, so we didn't suffer from that respect, and so we just thought we'd do this half of the podcast on actually what we do when we're here.
Because people say, what do you do when you go camping, and blah 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 blah, because you're in the middle of the bush and out the boonies, and you know, what do you do, and what do you I don't know, guess exercise and everything else. So yeah, we
well, when we normally go away, we used to go to a campsite called Beresford Lake, and there was a little loop around the campsite, and it was about 200 meters, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just a short loop.
Yeah, so we used to, every day around 4 o'clock, why we picked 4 o'clock, I don't know. It just happened one year that we'd go and do several loops round it. So if we did 10 loops round it, a couple of kilometers a day. So this campsite is kind of in a B shape, so there's 2 separate bays, and to go round 3 times was just over 3 kilometers, wasn't it? About 3.2. So the last few days we've been adding in an extra loop. So we've been doing nearly 4 kilometres, so about 3.7 kilometres each day.
And we're quite sad. We do it at 4 o'clock every day.
Yeah, it's like, it's 4 o'clock. So
4 o'clock, we've got to go running.
Yeah, and
but again, it doesn't, like we've said before, you can't barter things. But I mean, we're sitting around a lot in the day. We don't tend to do. Yesterday we went for a hike, a 4 kilometre hike through the bush, a few k's away from where we are. We drove down there just for something different, to have a look at a different lake.
And got chased and attacked by a really annoyed turkey of some description.
I don't know.
We were just heading back on the last bit of the loop to the truck, and this well, I thought it was
psychotic turkey.
Well, I thought it was an owl at first, but obviously whatever it was, it must have had babies and just came at me.
Came out the bush. I said to Karen, the irony, we probably stepped over about 9 to 10 piles of bear scat. There was turds everywhere, and you keep your eyes out for bears, and next thing a turkey comes out of the bush and starts chasing you down the path. But
it wasn't happy. It was quite funny.
It was a little pissy, but oh well. So yeah, we do it at 4 o'clock, and normally then we've been running for about half an hour a day just to get some blood flowing and just to get your heart rate up a little bit, and then we tend to go down to the lake and have a wash straight afterwards, and then that kind of just sets you up for the evening for getting supper ready, and just our thing, I guess.
Well, it's just to get moving. I say the campsite, and even the one that we normally go to, excuse me, there's like some slight inclines, so we kind of mix things up here, and like there's some steep bits and then gradual like climbs, and then
suck the life out your legs.
Yeah, it does, yeah. And yesterday I had no gas in the tank, and it was hard, and then it was a couple of days ago it was really humid, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a really hard, but it's not like we're sprinting, it's just like, say, a jog just to get things moving, really.
We read a lot. I've got through 2.5 books this week. I'm just finishing my 3rd one now. I'm almost on the last chapter. So, and I know people say it's sad, but I mean, I've read books this week on diet. I've read one on, it's basically almost like a psychology book, and well, actually 2 of them were on psychology books. One is about mindset, and so it is a kind of work orientated in a way. I don't do very well with fiction.
No.
But I just find it interesting to actually sit down and chew through a book, because my book reading exploits at home are lie in bed at night, read 2 pages, read the second page 3 times, and then realise that you're not soaking any in, and then you're going to go to sleep. So it takes me forever to get through a 300-page book. So,
I've been I make tons and tons of notes while I'm at home, and I just like stuff for my website, stuff for like projects that I'm working on. And it was just nice to reread through all my notes, like make some sense of it. Like I was reading a book on communication, and there's one that I'm going to start on, one of the ones that you read. So
it's just organising your thoughts in quiet time, which again,
and having like enough hours to do it, because like to actually sit down at home and maybe sit down and read for 3-4 hours, or like say I basically have got so many books and notes made, and it was just nice to have time just for a few hours
to
and
organise.
It just raced by, and and you forget what you've written down, and even books that you might have already read before, and you think, oh, I don't remember that. So yeah, it's not so we're not working, but it's good to have that quiet time, like say, just
again, I think.
What else do? We like kayaked and canoed and fished, and the lakes broke again.
Oh no, there's a couple of fish out there. I swear I keep I keep catching the same one again.
Yeah.
But no, I mean the lake is just it's about 2 kilometres long. We've got a short little kayak, so I've paddled up and down. Well, both of us have been up and down the lake. Just a bit of exercise. I mean, you can go as hard as you want. Then we've got a 15-foot canoe, which I tend to have all the fishing gear in, which we'll leave down by the water. And when Karen doesn't come with me, I put a big heavy rock in the front so it actually steers properly and does what it's supposed to do. But I'll just go and sit out there for an hour in the evening, 7, 8 o'clock, and just do a bit of fishing and just watch the world go by. And yeah, it's relaxing time, it's relaxing your brain time, and you can just kind of do nothing really apart from sit and watch a float or got a spoon in the water, just spinning for jackfish or whatever. But yeah, just relaxing time and just a little bit of movement in the arms and the shoulders just to paddle out there. But again, not killing it.
Yeah, and I went down the lake the other night and it was an easy paddle down there, and then I spun it round and I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is hard work to get back, because just the way the wind was going. But like this lake, we've been to this park before, but we've not been up this far north and actually camped at this lake. And the nice thing about this lake is it's enclosed and there's no cabins on it. So where we normally go, you get a lot of like motorboat activity, people speeding like down the lake to get to one of the other lakes. So you've got loads of like waves, and so when you're
There's
in
a lot of
like,
boat traffic.
Yeah, and when you're in your canoe, like it can like throw the boat off balance. And this is nice because there's no cabins on it. It's just a small lake, and like say there was a little bit of motor traffic, but only really small kind of.
Just some people skiing around, going fishing and stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So you've got to actually
No big boats.
No big boats. You've got to drag your boat off the trailer and into the water. So yeah, this was nice. We also brought a game with us, a board game. So
first time ever.
Our friend Shirley, who has nagged us for the last couple of years and got us into playing some board games, we actually bought one and brought it with us. So that was actually
We've
nice.
got several friends that nag us into board games.
Yeah, and we resisted for the longest time, and she's super happy now that we're into like, embracing
And it was
board games.
Last night was my night. The night before was Karen's night, and sometimes just how the cards come out, you just have a bit of luck. And last night I couldn't really lose, and the night before you couldn't lose.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's life.
And one of the things that we normally choose with regard to camping is like the lake that we normally go to has no phone, no cell phone, no internet, and it's always been nice to like totally just go off the radar. But this campsite, we actually do have internet and cell phone service, and we've actually been very adult about it. I've done a little bit of research on my tablet, but we've not really bothered
Not been
with
hanging
it.
on the phones,
and it's nice because like where we normally go, it's so remote that say if like something happened, an accident, or you needed medical attention, you literally have got to drive 50-60 kilometers to get internet and to get, well, there isn't actually a doctor in Bethesda. We found out there's a helicopter. So at least like from that perspective, it's always that kind of buffer if you did need help. Then but we were very adult. We just we've got service, but we literally chose not to bother with it, didn't we?
No, put it onto aircraft mode and forget about it. Don't need to live on that thing. Took lots of photos, and we'll do we'll probably throw, like Karen said in the last one, we'll throw a few in the show notes, and just to kind of show what we're doing and where we're at. And
I mean,
are we there?
I think so.
Oh, cool.
Like I say, it's just different people on the campsite. It was really quiet one day. It's picked up again now, and
getting towards the weekend again. The weekenders start to come, but the midweekers tends to be a little slower. So so we're basically going to plod along, and then when we get back, I'll throw this up onto the site. We haven't forgot about the mitochondrial episode that we said we'd do in the last episode, but we kind of wanted to throw this one in the middle just as a what we do when we're away, to get away from things and kind of rest in the brain. So we'll talk to you soon.
That's all we have time for right now, but we do hope that you join us for our next show. And if you want to contribute to an upcoming show by suggesting a topic that you would like us to discuss in more detail, then hop over to our website, healthyhalfhourpodcast.com, subscribe to our podcast and submit your suggestions. The Healthy Half Hour Podcast was brought to you by the 7 Day Shred, and don't forget to share our details with your friends and review our show. Until next time, thanks for listening.